Hi, I'm Matt. I had an appointment today to come look at the house.
Ever felt like a chump meeting with a seller? Stick around, and I'm gonna show you how to make sellers respect you. Even if you're brand new and you're really nervous and you feel like they can just see right through you. Hey, what's up? It's Matt at Epic. If you're new here, really glad that you found me. If not, great to see you again. Today, we're tearing down the walls and building bridges with sellers. Think you're too new or nervous to do this? Think again. I'm gonna show you how to make sellers trust you more than their own mothers. And I'll guide you through the art of asking questions, turning you into the puppet master of your own meetings, and then unveil my secret for making sellers dance to your tune. They'll create their own offers, and you'll be pulling the strings. Stay with me for a free respect building cheat sheet that's so good, it should be illegal. But only if you hit that like button. And if you like free, subscribe too. That's what we do. And if you have a comment or a question about creating rapport and respect with a seller, drop it below in the comments. So, have you ever felt desperate for a deal and the seller just was being unreasonable? We all have. And that's the nightmare that we're ending today. Creating rapport and respect with a seller, it's like building a bridge. You've got to lay a solid foundation, secure the connections, and not rush the construction, even if you are eager to cross. Because if that bridge isn't built carefully, well, just say you don't want to end up like the guy who trusted his GPS right into the lake. Build it right and they'll follow you anywhere. Now that bridge starts to get built for me when I team up with the seller. I mean, we go into battle together against the enemy that we've got in common, the market. It's our common enemy because a property, it's only worth what the market is willing to pay for it. The market doesn't care what I think or what the seller thinks about its value. It doesn't care what the real estate agent thinks or the bank thinks or an appraiser thinks either. The market dictates the value. For example, 1, what people are paying for comparable properties. You can't control that. 2, what people are trying to sell comparable properties for. 3, what people are leasing comparable properties for. And 4, what the necessary repairs to get those market prices cost. There's nothing that I or the seller or anyone can do about those numbers. The market is what the market is. So when I team up with them to beat the market together, it creates a certain level of trust. If they know that I'm there to fight and win with them, I can just feel the respect almost instantly. For example, in a call I had yesterday, I asked the seller, do you have an idea as to what properties like yours are selling for? And they gave me a reasonable number, and I just replied with, I don't see any issue getting your price as long as the market doesn't interfere. Should we just go for it? And the call that I just got off this morning, where the seller was a little unreasonable with his price, it ended with this question. Mr. Seller, you got 2 options. I mean, we can work with what the market is giving us now, or we can just wait for the market to bounce back. Which one do you want to do? It's very much like a dance though. I mean, I lead, they follow, but step on their toes and that bridge becomes less trustworthy, less respectful. Now, staying in control, this is pretty easy to do too. Even if you feel clueless, I do it by being curious, by asking questions. The more questions I ask, the less I actually have to talk. So if you ask more than you tell, it doesn't really matter if you're new or not. But more so, think of it this way. The person asking the questions is like the person driving a car, steering the conversation. If I ever find myself only answering questions, it's like I've handed over the steering wheel to the seller. And that can make just about anyone feel nervous. But I can easily take back the wheel. I can easily take back control. And here's the trick. When the seller asks a question, I just go ahead and answer it. I'm not being weird about it or anything. I don't have to avoid the question. I just follow up my answer with a question of my own. And boom, I'm back in the driver's seat. Some words of caution when asking questions though. This is not an interrogation. It's an interview, a conversational interview. And there are 2 parts to a good interview. 1, asking the questions. And 2, my secret for getting the seller to create their own offer that's actually a good deal for me. My secret? Listening. And I know that may sound obvious, but when I started, I was so focused on asking the right questions that I didn't really hear the seller's answers. I mean, I was so nervous, I just wanted to get through the script and get it over with, and I missed out on a ton of opportunities. This one time, I remember asking a seller in St. Louis why he was selling. And he said that he wanted to be closer to his new grandson in Arizona. And I just moved on right to the next question. His answer just went right over my head. And I went right into, so what do you owe on the house? When today I would have asked a little bit more about his family there and what it would mean to him when he actually got there to get into the actual motivation of moving. You see, every deal lies within the seller's motivation to sell. And I wasn't listening for the motivation. I wanted to get to the numbers too fast. And in hindsight, I paid way more for that property than I had to. There's no doubt now that he'd given me that house for something more important to him than money. Like just maybe making small monthly payments to a college fund for his grandson as an example. So first, genuinely listening to someone is one of the best rapport builders in the toolbox. And it makes me likable. People like people who listen to them. But most importantly, listening gets me what I need to put an offer together to where the seller thinks they actually created it. And when I ask open-ended questions like how and why questions, I get better answers that help me put together better offers. Here's an example ripped right from my playbook. On a scale of 1 to 10, Mr. Seller, with 10 being a brand new remodel, how would you rate the condition of your property? Well, what do you think would need to be done to bring it up to a 10? And then listen to what they have to say, and whatever they say, if you had to guess, what would you estimate that would cost to have done? And whatever number they share, I just make a note of it and I save it for my offer presentation. It all comes together like this for me. And I'm gonna overemphasize some parts to point out where the nuance and vocabulary directs responsibility of the offer to the market and the seller. And you're gonna hear that I've got nothing to do with this offer. Here, listen, Mr. Seller, based on what the market has to say about the value of your property and what you shared with me about the repairs needed, and then, after carving out a small little profit for the little guy, what you're saying is that we're in the ballpark of right around $250,000. Is that right? And I just shut up and I wait. If they agree, it was their idea. Now, if they don't agree, then it's really simple. Well, based on what the market is saying and what you shared with me about the condition of the property, what is the lowest price you would accept? Whatever comes out of their mouth was their idea. Now, there's more to it, but that's the gist. And if you'd like to get more offers signed and faster, text me at 725-500-5994 and I'll just give you a copy of our collaboration code cheat sheet. It's one of my most prized possessions, one of my most powerful tools. You've danced, you drove, you closed. You've got the respect, you got the rapport and the deal. But the party's not over yet. There's always another deal, another dance floor waiting for you. So keep these tips in your back pocket and you'll never miss a beat. If you'd rather listen on the go, you'd probably like the Epic Real Estate Investing Podcast. It's the longest running real estate podcast on all of the interwebs. So what did you find most valuable just now? Let me know below. And who do you know that may also enjoy this? When their name comes to mind, please share it with them. Oh, and I pulled this video out special for you to watch next. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.